Le contrôle de l'esprit. Facility. Bonjour. Gros bouton avec une ampoule dessus. Bon ben, gros bouton.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Bah ouais, bien sûr qu'on a le courage de le trouver. Caméra.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ok, donc ça c'est des caméras qui surveillent tous les employés du bâtiment. D'accord. Bon. Un gros bouton avec ascenseur.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Et donc ce serait pour ça.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was
Never!
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Je fais comment pour tout détruire, monsieur? Monsieur, 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 monsieur! Je fais... Oh, gros bouton rouge. Pourquoi je vais pas appuyer sur le gros bouton rouge? Alors...
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Off ou on? Off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
C'est un écran. Tous les coups, c'est un écran, non?
Stanley felt the cool
Non, c'est pas un écran.
The feeling of liberation.
Mais j'ai pas le contrôle. Retourne-toi, Stanley.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Retourne-toi, Stanley, c'est le seul moyen de savoir si t'es dans un vrai monde. On vient de finir le jeu apparemment. Vu qu'il me dit succès déverrouillé, end the game. Et par contre il redémarre.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He
En
hoped
fait,
it
y a pas de
was.
fin
He
dans ce
hoped
jeu.
very
Ouh,
much
par contre
that
ça,
it was.
y a pas de fin dans ce jeu.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Mais pourquoi t'as rebooté le
Yet there was
jeu?
not a single person here either. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he
C'était
really
pas ça?
be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs.
Mais
the
non!
guttural retching of
Mais
life
non, je
from a
m'éclate
man
pas,
denied
je
any
m'écroule
hope,
pas en
any
sanglots.
reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a
D'où
key
il me prend, lui?
behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it wasn't. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety
Pardon.
isn't healthy. So he
Pardon le
went
narrateur, je
for
voulais
a few
pas.
moments with some calming new age music.
Ah, détendons-nous. Détendons-nous avec cette musique
Feeling soothed
New
and
Age.
rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
On a essayé l'escape. On a essayé de s'échapper, ça marchait pas. On a essayé le mind control, ça marche, mais on a une fin du jeu, mais une fin qui... Est-ce qu'on a vraiment une fin dans le jeu? C'est ça la
Stanley
question.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The
Par
heart
contre, on
of the
sait pas à quoi ça
operation.
sert les
Controls
boutons...
labeled with
Bouton
emotions,
5.
happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working,
Attends.
all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
On peut pas monter au-dessus en fait. Il y a une passerelle au-dessus, mais on peut pas monter au-dessus. Alors est-ce que la passerelle a... En fait, le problème c'est de savoir s'il y a un sens à tout ce qu'on voit dans le jeu. Là, il y a des boutons, etc. Mais est-ce qu'il y a un sens à ces boutons? Est-ce que les boutons servent à quelque chose? Est-ce que ça sert à quelque chose d'appuyer sur le bouton?
And
On
when
a
at
fait
last he
off.
found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On va faire on ce coup-ci. La dernière fois, on a fait off sur le mind control. Donc ce coup-ci, on va faire on.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Bah si.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes, control.
Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating
Excellent.
the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to
merde.
talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Ah,
You know
sadique.
what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? Precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Un narrateur doit aimer
Oh, dear me, what's
doit
the matter,
aimer
Stanley?
s'entendre parler.
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen.
Ah non, je cours pas d'écran en
clicking
écran.
on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a
Une porte.
disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving.
Forêt.
It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you...
C'est un enfoiré.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Aïe. Non, ça recharge encore. On va s'arrêter là, je pense, parce qu'il n'y a pas de... Ah. Bienvenue au paradis. Welcome to heaven, bienvenue au paradis, Stanley. Le paradis des boutons, je peux cliquer à tout au long de la journée sur des boutons, des boutons, des boutons, des boutons, le paradis de Stanley. Excellent. Mais je vous rappelle, la drogue, c'est mal. Donc on a fini le jeu. Je pense. Je pense qu'on a battu la machine, qu'on a battu la matrice. Et on va conclure là sur The Stanley Parable qui était vraiment sympa. Moi j'ai trouvé vraiment sympa, vraiment original et vraiment sympa à faire. Enfin moi je me suis vraiment amusé à le faire. J'espère que ça vous a plu aussi.